Hi, Peter Mary here, the Fun Wedding Guy, and in our final episode here, taking a look at the grand entrance video footage that was submitted by DJ Ramu out of the Boston, Rhode Island area, I thought I'd wrap up by taking a look at the last layer of things that I think we need to talk about. We started off by taking a look at how many words were being used. We then took a look at who was being talked about with relation to the guests, the parents, the wedding party, and the bride and groom. Then we took a look at what was being said about them and whether or not those things were actually appropriate or fitting for the moment. And then finally, I'd like to finish by taking a look at how things are being presented with a few suggestions that might make it more effective, more energetic, and make for a better, memorable moment. But first, I thought I'd start with the kudos. Kudos and hats off to Ramu for the staging of the wedding party. Did you notice in the video that when the first dance began, the wedding party was all lined up behind them, just like the photo you see over my shoulder? That makes for a great backdrop, and as you can see there, it makes for great pictures. We create moments, the photographers capture them, and when you help stage something like that, it can definitely make for a really, really cool moment. Word of advice, make sure the wedding party's not holding beers. Make sure to even tell them to look at the bride and groom smile so they make for a good backdrop. But yes, when those things are done right, it can really add a whole lot more value to the memory and the moment that's created. So good job, Ramu. That was very well done. I'd like to talk about a couple things you did in your presentation, though, that might need some consideration. First, when you transition from talking about the grandparents into introducing the bridal party, wedding party, you developed a growl in your voice. Listen to it again when you watch the video. You'll hear that your voice goes from a more natural conversational tone to, "And now please welcome our bridesmaid, here she comes," and you're getting that growl sound coming into your voice. That's a very common mistake that a lot of masters of ceremonies do because they think that growling adds more energy, and more energy will make this more exciting. It doesn't. It comes off as feeling insincere, and it leaves the guests wondering if you talk like that when you get home. "Hi, honey, I'm home. What's for dinner?" Well, that's just not a natural voice. So talk like a natural person instead of putting in that, Sunday, Sunday, Sunday monster truck growl voice, and you're going to find yourself being a lot more effective in what you say and how you say it. Next, you were trying to create energy with the music, and I have to say that the one thing I thought you did that added personalization to the grand entrance was the song Today by the Smashing Pumpkins, which you were playing as the music bed. I'm going to assume and give you credit for the fact that that was a choice that the bride and groom made. Based on the fact that they chose Toad the Wet Sprocket for their first dance, they're probably more into alternative music, and they wanted that song for their grand entrance. Now, as their master of ceremonies, I don't have a problem with allowing them to choose that song. I think that's great. But when you introduce the bride and groom, if you've had that same song playing the whole way through, the only thing that's building energy is you telling people to stand up and having to tell them twice. That energy should be created naturally by the energy in your voice and by the song that you're playing that boosts the energy when they come in. When my couples choose a song that's low energy, I tell them point blank, you should seriously consider a song that has a "ta-da, we're here" kind of a feel to it. Picking a music bed for introducing the wedding party is great. Picking a different song for each person or for each couple is even better because it continues to change the energy and make it fun and different and unique. But when the bride and groom come in, it should seriously be suggested to them that they pick a song that has a lot of punch to it and says, "Ta-da, we're here," and that song starts right when they come in. So you have a complete change from what we've just done to what we're going into, but that song played the whole time. And I'm not sure if you offer that kind of personalization to your clients, but I'd highly recommend it. To any other DJs that are watching, I'd recommend that as well. And to any brides that are watching, don't be afraid to personalize every moment of the music in these events. You don't have to pick one song for the grand entrance. You can pick 10 and pick one for each couple in the wedding party and then one for the two of you that says, "Ta-da, we're here." So feel free to get that creative and have fun with it. I would have recommended fading the music out a little bit while you're making the first dance announcement so it goes completely silent and then starts their song. When you do a blended mix between those two songs, it just doesn't quite fit. So I don't think it would have hurt to blend that down and move into the next song. And the other thing I'd highly recommend is to really take a look at why you're requiring everybody to stand through the first dance. For some of the older folks that are there, that could get very uncomfortable. But here's another factor to consider. Sightlines. The guests are there because they want to be connected to the moments. And if the guests can't see because they've got 10 guests standing in between them and the dance floor and they can't see the bride and groom dancing, making them stand the entire time to watch something they can't see, it's kind of painful. And it makes them disconnect emotionally and mentally and think about leaving early. So I would highly recommend telling your wedding party to stay right where they are, but inviting the guests to go ahead and take their seats. We're all going to watch as they share their first dance as husband and wife. And if you allow those guests to sit, then they can all watch, they can all be comfortable, and they can all be attentive and be connected to the moment. So I would highly recommend considering changing that one little aspect, because I think it's actually going to cost you business, and people are going to be uncomfortable standing the whole time. They're going to be less likely to come up and ask for a card, because if you made them stand for 4 minutes straight, that could feel a little bit long. So on a final note, I thought I'd finish on kind of a personal note. And I'm choosing to use the word personal because Ramu posted a press release a while back saying that this is personal for him. This isn't just a numbers game. And he talked about the fact that a lot of entertainers are just looking to fill as many dates as they can. It's all about the numbers, but for him it's personal. And that's why he wants to get to know his clients before he books with them. And he even said in the article he wants to get to know them and find out what their hobbies are and what they enjoy doing in their spare time and all these personal things. But then he followed it up by saying, because when you connect with them like that, they remember you and talk about you to their friends. So is your purpose in making that connection so that they will talk about you? Or should your purpose also be so that you can make this celebration as personal to them as possible? What's the point of asking them what their hobbies are and what they enjoy doing in their spare time and how they met and all those little tidbits if you as the master of ceremonies aren't going to draw those things in to the presentation you're making at their wedding reception? That's probably the biggest takeaway I can share with you and any other DJ that's watching. The more uniquely you get to know your clients and the more you can draw that information into the overall presentation, the better. My couple on April 10th met while working together at the Blue Bayou at Disneyland. Their last dance song was Blue Bayou by Roy Orbison. Now, we'd already told them that in the love story, but when it was time to introduce their last dance, I made sure to connect the dots on that for the guests once again and remind them that the reason they chose this song is because it reminded them of where they had first met, where their paths had first crossed. And as it had just so happened, just moments earlier out the window across the valley, they could see the fireworks going off over Disneyland. That happens around 9:45 every night. We told the guests they did it just for Steve and Kristen. Or just for Steve and Lisa. Sorry, I was thinking about Ramu's couple, Steve and Lisa. And then we played the Blue Bayou song. There were lots of different moments that were brought in to make it more personal. And Ramu, if you're really getting to know your clients on a personal level, I would challenge you to find ways to make this as personal for them as possible. If you're saying the same things and saying the same titles, Bride and Groom, and doing the same infomercial type of announcements to warm up your crowd that are not really being effective, you're not going to get the kind of business that's going to be calling for you. You're going to get the kind of business you're getting right now, which is people who are searching for a DJ. And you don't want people who are searching for a DJ. You want people who are searching for a Ramu. You want to be the guy they perceive as being on the cover of Time magazine? You got to be more personal in how you do your job. You got to make it as uniquely personal to them and their guests as possible. And on a final closing note, when it comes to being personal, I've been reading some of the press releases you've been posting this last week about Luke Wrenchin, a local DJ in your area. I've been reading some of the comments you've been making about him. And I've got 2 words for you. Yo mama. Let's make that 3 words. Call yo mama. Call your mom, let her see what you've been posting, and ask her if she'd approve. This is a business, and it's a very small community in every market that we're in. Everybody knows everybody, every location knows everybody, every photographer knows everybody. We all know each other. And when things are being done, like I've seen with these press releases, that are attacking a competitor of yours, maliciously, I must say, it doesn't make the rest of our industry look good. It makes us look foolish. And the truth is, it makes you look foolish. Ask your mom what she thinks. Call her. Show her what you've posted online and ask her what she thinks. You deserve to have a mom who'd be thrilled to see the success you're creating for yourself without tearing down others unfairly. That's the conclusion of what I have to say about DJ Ramu in the Boston, Rhode Island area. Starting on Monday, we're going to dig into a new topic. And if you have some topics or questions you'd like to see me cover, feel free to post them on the blog at thefunweddingguy.com, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thefunweddingguy, or our Facebook channel, facebook.com/thefunweddingguy. Thanks for watching. My name is Peter Mary.